It's Dr. Boucher back with the hernia content that you didn't know you needed. I had a question asking what the difference between inguinal and femoral hernias are and why women get more femoral hernias than men. So let's break it down. So, speaking about groin hernias in general, men get them much more commonly than women. About 25% of men will get a groin hernia in their life, and around 5% of women will get a groin hernia in their life. And the reason why men get more groin hernias is because our testicles actually start in our abdomen. And as we grow in utero, they descend down through our abdomen, through our groin canal, into the scrotum. And that tunnel that the testicle burrows through our groin canal sets us up for hernias when we get older. Now, a femoral hernia is different because it doesn't go through the indirect or the direct inguinal hernia spaces, but rather in the empty space that's usually occupied by a fat pad that's next to the femoral vein through which some intestine can protrude and become a point of obstruction. And women are more likely to get a femoral hernia than a man is, but in general, if you have a groin hernia as a man or woman, you're much more likely to have an inguinal hernia compared to a femoral hernia. But women are genetically predisposed and anatomically to get more femoral hernias than men for two reasons. One, no testicles. So there's no testicle burrowing through the groin canal to go into the scrotum. Women have what's called a round ligament of the uterus, and so that goes through the groin canal. The job of that ligament is to basically to hold up the uterus when it's pregnant so it doesn't fall backwards in the abdominal cavity, but it doesn't burrow a hole through the groin canal like the testicles do. So it really isn't a setup for an inguinal hernia as much. And the second reason why women get more femoral hernias than men is because their pelvis is wider for childbearing, and so that wider space leads to a wider potential empty space next to the femoral vein, so they're more likely to have something protrude through that larger space. In general, in the world of minimally invasive surgery, they are fixed exactly the same way. The mesh that goes into that space covers all potential hernia defects, indirect, direct, femoral, obturator if you go low enough. So in general, if you're doing the approach laparoscopically or robotically, it essentially is the same repair. Doing the repair open is a little different between a femoral and an inguinal hernia. You have to bring two ligaments together that you usually wouldn't see during an inguinal hernia repair. Essentially, you have to bring the Cooper's ligament to the inguinal ligament, and you have to take a stitch that's kind of close to the femoral vein, so it's a little bit scary. So in general, like most of my approaches, I prefer to do it robotically over open, but it can be done either way. And that's the difference between inguinal and femoral hernias and why women get more femoral hernias than men.